Okay, everyone, let me take you into our ebook, into our online course, and into what Ikigai is truly about. And I'm so excited because, I think there's so much to discover when it comes to Ikigai, a Japanese philosophy, a Japanese word, a word that has been used in Japan since the 14th century, and a word which in modern times is connected to so many misconceptions and misunderstandings. So I hope you're well. My name is Motoki. We have written this book for you. We have researched Ikigai a ton. Yeah, let's dive into the ebook so you get a little bit of an overview and also some flavor of what Ikigai can really mean to you. And this is the leading question. To which question in your life is Ikigai an answer to? What question is really important to you right now in your life where you're at, where Ikigai can be an answer to? So let's look. Invite you to think of Ikigai as a journey. So here you see a little bit of the silhouette of Mount Fuji with a lake. And maybe there's me, or maybe there's you, or however, whatever you see in that picture. There's a reflection of the Mount Fuji, and the Mount Fuji is always reminding me to be well in my posture, like majestic into, the lower tails, and it's just a beautiful, respectful mountain. And we can take a breath here, letting go of that breath, and dive into this book. So in the course, there is an introduction, and there's also access to our online course, of course. And Ikigai is a journey. So it's not a destination, but a journey. It's an invitation for lifelong learning. And you can discover Ikigai through Japanese culture, through values, through the richness of the Japanese tradition. And we promise the more you dive into the topic and the philosophy and the psychology of Ikigai, you can discover so many little, small, but also bigger things. And what helped me is, on my way, is to meet, whether they're living or not, so-called senseis, like my teachers in my life. And I'm not finished yet, so I'm still looking for teachers. But the question also for you as a reflection here is, which teachers did you have in your life? To which teachers can you be thankful for? And also, what teachers are you missing in your life? Because what we want to invite you to is to enter a dojo, which is kind of an immersive training ground where we can learn together, not alone, but together, about Ikigai. And I'm thankful for my mother, who has been a sensei to me. Though maybe she thinks I was also in puberty or whenever in my life I didn't so obey her will, but she's truly a teacher in my life. And there were teachers, and today maybe my kids are my teachers. So who teaches you? You can pause now the video and start some music for us and think about teachers. And also, what teachers would help you in the journey of Ikigai, discovering your values? Who could be with you in this journey? So make a pause, reflect on that, listen to some music, and then continue. So here's some Ikigai stories you can read on yourself. And let's dive into the true meaning of Ikigai. So Ikigai means Iki, like life or to live. And Kai is something of value, Ikigai. It derives from the Kai, but Ikigai just means worth living or finding worth in our lives. So it's very simple, and you may read for yourself. If you have heard about Ikigai, the probability is very, very high that you have seen this Venn diagram. And I still have people who are into my course who still think like, but what about these diagram? Isn't this ikigai? And I think Ken Mogi would say, it could be a part of ikigai, but ikigai is far more. It's a spectrum. It's so much more. Because you can think and reflect on this diagram a lot. It's a nice diagram. It's for a question. That's really sexy. And it seems to make life so simple, and it's something we are longing for, right? My friend Chris Du did a lot of talks about creativity, business, and how to make a life as an entrepreneur and as a creative person. Chris Du, you can look him up on YouTube. Millions of followers. The talk that was the most successful and gained the most views in the pandemic was his talk about ikigai. In fact, he used the 4 circles here, which may be appropriate to Chris because it was answering a lot of questions of people who want to make a living, who ask themselves, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? And what does the world need? So quite like 4 magic questions, which you can use in coaching when someone wants to do a career step, wants to progress in their lives with earning money. But I always say, and I was in that situation, your career won't visit you once you're in hospital. Your career won't visit you when you go to hospital, when you're hospitalized. Why? Because the career asks from you, it demands from you. But if you're not able to serve the career anymore, the career won't wait for you. The world doesn't wait for you. So it comes back to you and the question, what makes your life worth living? And to attach this, because the sweet spot is clearly here, when all the questions kind of meet. If you attach your life's meaning to money, you're on a dangerous path, truly. So ikigai is way more. And why the world thinks, like millions of shares, that this is ikigai, which is kind of a scandal, you can read here. In German language, we say it's Spanish, not Japanisch, so it's Spanish. It comes from Spain, from Andres Znaga, who developed it under his brand at the faculty of a university called Cosmogramma. So he's a cosmologist, and he developed these 4 circles and these 4 questions. And at that time, Venn diagrams were taking off like 10, 12 years ago. And it was even mentioned in the book. And then there was TED Talk about longevity and like the people getting so old and having their ikigai as a reason for being and reason to get up in the morning. And somehow Mark Winner, blogger, combined both aspects, labeled this Venn diagram as ikigai, and now even in Germany there are educations, like official educations, that teaches you coaching, that teaches you like well-being officers for companies, like a certificate from the state government even, and they will have a chapter ikigai, and it will be the 4 circles. So even authorities, institutes, people who certify people to become coaches in the world think this is ikigai. It's not. It's called propósito in Spanish, so it's purpose. It's about purpose. But even, I would say, be careful to attach your purpose to money. Like, totally. So there's also a question of attainment, non-attainment, and also a question, there are situations where this diagram will help. You can reflect on this, pause the video, and think, do the diagram for yourself, and think where it is helpful. And also make time for reflection where this is not helpful, where this is maybe or even misleading. Imagine when you're really in a challenging situation where this is not helpful. Okay, let's continue. So we say ikigai is not about what we want to do, which is more the 1st circle saying, but how we want to do and how we want to approach life. You may think of that and reflect on that. And it's not the question like Simon Sinek asked, why, the purpose question, but more what for. But why am I here? A little bit also sometimes of a question that is has a perspective of the past, but more what for? Yeah, this is something we will look later on. So time to reflect. Just take your time and reflect on the model. Try out the model as well for yourself, like the Venn diagram. Reflect on what if ikigai and the question of why do I get up in the morning, it's way more than, earning money. What do? You can even do our ikigai test. I will link the ikigai test in the description of this video. It's for free. You will get a nice reflection. What did you enjoy when you were a child? What do you enjoy doing which doesn't make sense for anyone? If no one cares about it, if no one gives you a reward. We live in a reward dopamine society in a modern. So what intrinsic motivations do you have? Like doing things that, like even for leisure, that are just meaningful for you. Further question. In the last 48 hours, what was so small, tiny, an encounter with someone? Seeing the birds or seeing the leaves moving in the wind, that you will almost forget it in a few hours, in a few days, but gave you a lot of worth and the feeling that life is worth living. Even when you're in challenges, even when you're in severe circumstances. Look out for those things and journal about them. So you got a lot to do. I will make here a pause. You can make a pause here and reflect on that. And then when you're ready, you can dive into this ebook even more. Look why ikigai can be or promote health and happiness. Think about ikigai. Learn about Mieko Kamiya, the founder of ikigai psychology. Learn why she needed to write after she was living in Geneva in US. She was translating works from Marcus Aurelius from the Greek to Japan language. Michel Foucault from the French. She could write in German. She had her diaries and she was just an amazing woman. So I will also link a blog article about Mieko Kamiya in the notes of this YouTube video. And here you see her nicely illustrated. Oh God, if it's truly my mission, please give me the will and power to accomplish it. Please keep me alive until I complete this work. This was her work about writing about ikigai. And so go to our website, read about Mieko Kamiya in our blog, and possibly I will make a video focusing on Mieko Kamiya and what we can learn from her. So for now, I guess I will say, you have enough time to reflect now. You have enough time to learn from Mieko Kamiya. And yeah, you can ponder and reflect on the question, what gives you hope for a better future? What excites you so much that you lie sometimes awake at night? Where do you feel called to? So let me stop this video now. And I hope you have enjoyed it. And I will put in some links and also a link to our Ikigai online course. And a little bit of a tip if you heard until now. If you do the Ikigai test, you will get a voucher with the Ikigai test and you can use the voucher to have a little bit of a discount for our online course. Speak soon and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.